Hello everyone, it's me again from the Roman Gaming channel. It's week 6 of Gunsmith Armsday and I'm going to do a review on the weapons you can get from last week's Armsday order packages. And also where is the best place to test these prototype weapons. This is something I'm going to try to do every week, so let us begin. First thing you need to know is that depending on your rank with Banshee is the number of weapons he offers you. If you're rank 1, you get 1, rank 2 will get 2, and finally if you're rank 3, you will get 3 different choices. The first weapon Banshee has is the HakkeZarinaea-D auto rifle. And yes, I probably butchered that name, but no matter. The base stats for the weapon is that it has a high rate of fire, low impact weapon. It has a nice stability, a great max size, and thanks to update 2.0, this is no longer a pea shooter, which makes it a decent weapon. The sights for rank 1 has GA post, LD watch. The sight is really up to you. The LD watch sight is sort of a scope which can make it close combat a little bit more difficult in PvP, but it's not something horrible. The first perk is Army of 1, which unassisted kills will with this weapon reduce grenade and melee cooldown. This is a pretty decent perk given that it's your primary weapon, getting unassisted kills won't be that hard. The second perk is Rodeo, which reduces the severity for this weapon's recoil, which is always welcome in my books. The last three has high caliber rounds, hand loaded and braced frame. Braced frame would be your best option because the stability of the weapon will be almost max and the max sight is pretty high, so it won't impact the weapon that much. So your PvE and PvP setup would be your choice of sights and braced frame. For rank 2 we have SC hollow and LC ranged. Your best bet would be LC ranged thanks to its increase in range. This weapon also has Army of 1 for its first perk, which I talked about in the last weapon, so I won't mention here. Next up, we have Persistence. This weapon grows more accurate the longer it's fired. This perk is a pretty good perk, but it's not used when you first fire the weapon, so it could affect you in PvP. The final tree has high caliber rounds, fitted stock, and braced frame. So braced frame is going to be your best option again. Now, your PvP and PvP option would be LC ranged and braced frame. Finally, the rank 3 weapon has GA post and LC ranged. So just like rank 2 weapons, LC range is the best sight here. The first perk is for this weapon is also Army of 1, so you guys know the deal here. The second perk is Rangefinder, which aiming the weapon has an increase in its effect range, which is a great perk dealing with long range enemies that other weapons of its kind may not be able to kill. And finally, on the last tree we have Snapshot, Fitted Stock, and Small Bore. The perk you're going to go with here is Small Bore for its increase in range and stability. So your PvE and PvP setup option would be LC range and Small Bore. Now, which of the best weapon is for here? If you are rank 3 or higher, definitely rank 3, but if you're not, then the rank 1 would be your best option. Next weapon is the Suros JLB-47 rocket launcher. Looking at its base stats, it has a high blast radius and a high velocity. The reload is decent and it has a standard of 2 rockets in the mag. Your sights on rank 1 would be Warhead Veneers, Smart Drift Control, and finally Hard Launch. It's really hard to say which would be the best, maybe Hard Launch, but increased stability does not matter much for a rocket launcher. Your next tree has Slinger, Single Point Sling, and Speed Reload. Obviously Speed Reload is going to be your perk to use. Your perk is Who's Next. A kill with the final round for this magazine increased reload speed. In PvP it won't do you much good because you only get 2 rockets. In PvE it could bring some use to it, but it's not crazy, I gotta have it perk. On your final tree we have Perfect Balance and Stop Shot. It really does not matter what perk you get here. Your PvP and PvE setup will be Hard Launch, Speed Reload, and your choice for the last tree. Rank 2 has Warhead, Veneers, Smart Drift Control, and Hard Launch. This is just like rank 1, so same applies here. For your first tree we have Heavy Payload and Flare Magwell. Heavy Payload would definitely be the one you should use. Then for your perk we have Tripod, which lets you have 3 rockets in the mag. On the final tree we have Perfect Balance and Lightweight. The decision here would be whichever you prefer. Your PvP and PvE setup is going to be Hard Launch, Heavy Payload, and your choice for the last tree. The final rocket on rank 3 has Warhead Veneers, Linear Compensator, and Hard Launch. On here we have one different perk, but again no sight really stands out from the crowd. For your second tree we have Heavy Payload and Speed Reload. heavy payload is going to be the best option here. For your perk, we have Who's Next, like on the first one, not that huge an impact on impact. And finally, Perfect Balance and Quick Draw. It's hard to say. Quick Draw could have an impact in PvP, but not a game changer, so it's really up to you. So your PvP and PvE choice is going to be Hard Launch, Heavy Payload, and again, your choice for the last tree. Now, which is the best rocket launcher here? Anyone you would prefer really. The rank 2 could age out a little bit, but this week's rockets are really forgettable. In fact, if you could get a rocket and dismantle it right away, I wouldn't blame you. Next weapon is the Hakke Strongbow-D shotgun. The base stat for this weapon is a normal impact, high stability shotgun with pretty good rate of fire, but it will not compete with something like Conspiracy Theory D. In the rank 1 we have sights, Tsukibi Ballistic, and Field Choke. The sight you will get is Field Choke, which increases impact and range for stability loss, but in PvP, stability is not something you will need a lot. Your first perk is Close and or Personal. You gain a short period of 25% bonus melee damage after landing a hit with this weapon. It's a useful perk in PvE. In PvP it's a little bit of an overkill, because usually a shotgun shot followed by a melee hit will grant you the kill. Next perk we have Rangefinder. Aiming this weapon increases its range. I don't know why Bungie continues torturing us with these perks, but in PvP it will definitely give you kills from ranges weapons of this kind wouldn't get. On the final tree we have Flare Magwell, Hand Loaded, and finally Oiled Frame. For this tree, without a doubt, Hand Loaded giving you an extra range to it. So your PvP and PvP setup would be Field Choke and Hand Loaded. For the rank 2 weapon we have Soft Ballistics and Linear Compensator. The side you will use will be Linear Compensator for the increase in impact and range. Your first perk is going to be Danger Close. This weapon gains increased reload and handling when 2 or more enemies are in close proximity. This perk is not the best on PvP. An increase in reload and handling does not give you much of an advantage. In PvE it has its moments, but it's not something crazy good. The second perk is Rangefinder. Again, I already talked about it in the previous weapon. On your final tree we have Flare Magwell, Perfect Balance, and Rifle Barrel. Rifle Barrel is the one you will use thanks to its increase in range. Your PvP and PvE setup will consist of Linear Compensator and Rifle Barrel. Your rank 3 weapon has Smart Drift Control and Field Choke. Your option for sights is Field Choke. Your first perk is Final Round. The last round of the magazine deals bonus damage. This is not a bad perk on PvP, but not a very good one. It requires you to not reload the weapon in order to use this perk, but the increase in damage could get you an impossible range to kill. Your final perk is Spray and Play. This is another mid-tier perk, but thanks to Final Round, on this weapon they work perfectly together and make a high tier combo. And on your final tree we have Flare Magwell, Hand Loaded, and Rifle Barrel. So just like the last weapon, Rifle Barrel is your choice. Now your PvP and PvE setup would be Field Choke and Rifle Barrel. The best shotgun you can get here is without a doubt the rank 3 shotgun, but if you're not high ranked, the rank 1 shotgun will be the best one for you. The Hakke Aoife RUA-D sniper rifle is up next. Its base stats are mid pre-impact high rate of fire sniper with a great reload speed and mid stability. In the rank 1 sniper we have the scope ATA Scout and the ATD Raptor. Both scopes don't change the stats of the weapon, and the ATD Raptor could give you a little bit of an advantage in PvP, being able to spot a weak enemy. I've gotten some nice kills just seeing the leg when hiding and getting the kill, but whichever scope you like here best. Your first perk is Private Eye. Optical zoom length is increased while crouched. This is a mid-tier perk in PvE. In PvP I have found that the less zoom you have in your scope is best. Send Moment is up next, and the sniper rifle is not a great perk at all just because of weapon stability. Send Moment is not going to make a huge difference on it. On your final tree we have Perfect Balance, Quick Draw, Brace Frame. Your best option here is on this tree is Brace Frame because it adds the most stability for this weapon. Now your PvP and PvE setup is going to be your choice of scope with Brace Frame. Rank 2 weapon is up next, and it has ATA Scout and ATD Raptor. Just like the last sniper, use the scope you like best. First perk is Surplus. Expect to find more ammo for this weapon. This is another low mid-tier perk because on a special weapon it is not very hard to find ammo. Your final perk is Spray and Play. This is an okay perk for a sniper. You definitely reach the end of the mag more often, and this perk really comes in handy in Oryx fight. Perfect balance, quick draw, and brace frames are the last stream. And just like the previous sniper, brace frame is your best bet. For your PvP and PvE setup, you will use your choice of scope and brace frame. Your rank 3 snipers have the following scopes: ATB long range and ATD raptor. On this sniper, it's again up to you. You do lose range when you put the raptor, but like I said, in PvP, less range gives you a wider view to get kills. In PvE, you might want to stick with long range. Your first perk is Private Eye. It's a perk I already mentioned, and it's a mid-tier perk. Your last perk is Who's Next. A kill with the final round in the magazine increases reload speed. I'm not too fond of this perk because I always reload my weapons after a kill, or when I don't see an enemy, so this is not that great. The last three has high caliber rounds, snapshot, and brace frame. And just like on the other snipers, your choice will be brace frame. Your PvP setup would be your choice of scope and brace frame. For PvE, you will want to stick with ATB long range and brace frame. For the Aoife RUA-D snipers, it's another forgettable weapon. The rank 2 sniper might be the best, but really, it's up to you. Now we have the Omolon Tuonela SR4 scout rifle. The base stats, we have a pretty balanced weapon and has a nice stability with decent impact and rate of fire. The reload speed is also pretty great. The sights for the rank 1 scout has Candle IS2, Torch HS2, and finally Impulse MS2. So the MS2 is going to be your choice because it keeps the stats of the other sights and it increases range. The first perk is Replenish. This weapon's magazines will refill whenever you unleash your super. On the next tree we have Lightweight and Casket Mag. I don't know how much the ammo is decreased from Casket Mag. If it adds 5 more rounds it could be good, but it's risky to take. The final tree we have two choices of perks. We have Army of One and Exhumed. Army of One might be the best option here because Exhumed requires you to die in order for this perk to be used. It could come in handy with revival enabled game modes, but still, dying in order for this perk to be used is not a good idea. Your PvE setup is going to be Impulse MS2, your choice for the second tree depending on round increase of Casket Mag, and for the perk choice would be Army of One because you would not be using Exhumed a lot. For your PvP setup, depending on the game mode you choose, would be Impulse MS2, depending on Casket Mag increase, and your last perk choice would be for a non-revival game mode, Army of One, and for a revival game, your choice of a perk. The second weapon has Spark IS6, Flash HS4, and Impulse MS2. MS2 is going to be your sight. The first perk is Triple Tap. Rapidly landing precision hits will return 1 round to the magazine. This is a decent perk for PvE. On PvP, it could come in use. For your second tree, we have a Quick Draw and Feather Mag. The choice here is simple: Quick Draw. Not because it's a great perk, but having 13 rounds as a mag is bad. And finally, your choice of perk is exactly like the last one, so I will not be mentioning it. Your PvE setup would be Impulse MS2, Quick Draw, and Army of One. For PvP is going to be Impulse, Quick Draw, and what I mentioned on the last weapon. Your rank 3 weapon has a choice of Candle IS2, Flash HS4, and Signal MS5. For this weapon, sights is whichever one you prefer. Your first perk is Rescue Mag, a chance to refill its weapon's magazine when critically wounded. This is a pretty decent perk in both PvP and PvE. Sometimes you get killed because you ran out of ammo, and if you're critically wounded and you get a mag refill, you could get a kill first. Single Point Sling and Casket Mag are up next, and just like I said on ranked 1 weapon, depending on Casket Mag, your choice for perks are Army of One and Eye of the Storm. I think that Eye of the Storm is going to be the best perk here because it works with Rescue Mag. Eye of the Storm helps you to become more accurate as your health gets low, and if you're critically wounded, Rescue Mag has a chance to refill your mag. So, your PvP and PvE setup is going to consist of your choice of sights, depending on Casket Mag and Eye of the Storm. The best weapon you can get here is going to be the rank 3 weapon, thanks to its 2 perks being able to work together. But if you're not rank 3 yet, it's really up to you. Now let's see where it's going to be the best place to test your weapons. For the Omolon Tuonela SR4 fusion rifle, you'll want to head to Valley of the Kings in Mars. You know where the big portal takes to the Black Garden? There, 4 Minotaurs, a Hydra, and a Hobgoblin will spawn. If they don't, just leave and come back. For the HakkeZarinaea-D auto rifle, the Hellmouth on the moon has a lot of fun you can kill. Since you're already in the moon, might as well kill Hive with the HakkeZarinaea-D shotgun. And finally, for the HakkeZarinaea-D hand cannon and the Suros TCA-10 auto rifle, these weapons can be done anywhere, but I suggest the moon because you're already there for the HakkeZarinaea-D auto rifle and the HakkeZarinaea-D shotgun. And that will complete my Armsday weapon review and where to test your prototype weapons. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys on my next video.